But you also have those jokes too, where like I like this stuff about just don't pay your debt off, you know, like that kind of stuff too. That's pretty funny because you know it's almost you're not like specifically criticizing like a religion or this or that like we've been talking about, but just these think outside the box for a second, like stop going about your life, going to work, paying your bills, whatever, and think about this from another perspective. And I like that aspect of your comedy too. I
love doing those kind of jokes to listen to the argument that's already out there and come at it from a completely different angle that hasn't been used yet. And it's so much fun to see and hear the reaction of people to that, because when you see them get the light bulb, it is so much fun. It's like, oh yeah, that does make sense. Now, granted, some of them are just dumb idea for dumb idea's sake, and I can make them sound plausible and good. But like the life hack thing that I did 2 weeks ago, where and that took me 6 months to figure out too. But the premise behind it was, if you get a job, most of them today will offer you a 401k. You can manipulate that and contribute to your 401k. You leave that job after 3 years, you'll have a specific amount, like $5,000 or $6,000, because it's only like 5% that they'll contribute to it. You go to another job, since you have like $6,000 in the bank to ride on, you can contribute like 50% of your paycheck to that 401k at the new job. And then you can keep building your 401k up like that, because then after 3 years of contributing 50% of your paycheck, you'll have like $15,000 or $20,000 in the bank. And you can ride on $20,000 for a year while you're contributing 75% of your paycheck at your next job. So then your
head just spun like Linda Blair.
So then is when I decide, now that could be a nice idea in and of itself to get $100,000 in 9 years, but let's do something stupid with it. And then I love this bit, and so many people never get it, but it's true. No, the problem is that
this bit, no one ever gets it.
Well, no, because the bit starts off with me making fun of a homeless guy and saying, which sounds bad.
Keep it low.
Well, no, the issue is that the dude has a sign and it says hungry and homeless, but instead of the and symbol, the ampersand, it's the anarchy symbol. So his sign actually says hungry, anarchy, homeless. So he looks just as crazy as everybody assumes that he is. So I go on to describe that if you get these jobs and contribute to your 401k, you'll have $100,000, which would be nice, but you don't have to stop there. You buy all the scratch-offs at your local convenience store, because they have to have a specific number of winning scratch-offs. So you buy them all, you get your money, but you don't stop there. You go and bet it all on black, and now you have Romney money.
Would that work?
See, that's what I love about that. That eventually people start going, oh, fuck, that might actually be a good idea. But you take your Romney money and you run for office. You get into office. You bullshit your way to the top until you're Speaker of the House. And once there's a year left on the president and the vice president's term, you pay somebody off to kill them because it's worked so far. Nobody's going to question you. And now you're the president. And all you have to do is be president for a year, and you can do whatever you want. You can get involved in scandals. You can declare war on other states. You can segregate the states if you want to, because 365 days isn't enough time to pass that law. So it's just to fuck with people. Like, we're going back to Jim Crow. Nah, I'm just fucking with you. It's not that. Then. And that's the fun thing. After being a president for a year, you're guaranteed a pension for the rest of your life, and the Secret Service has to follow you around until the day you die. And all you have to do is get a single job, and you'll never be hungry, anarchy, homeless. And I love that bit, and I've done it 50% of the time. It goes over so well, and people love it. The other half of the time, people are like, wait. So how much do I have to contribute in my second job? I lose them because...
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. I
was the 50% I didn't want to be. I was saying group 2.
Right. But that's the...
Wait, does that really work?
That's one of those bits where I really know who my audience is at that point, because they're following and they get it, and then everybody else is to the wayside. And that's fine. That I like figuring that out. I like knowing who my audience is because they'll show up for me the next time I do a gig where everybody else is like, I don't really get him and I don't care for him. That's fine. I don't need you.
do you have like in your when you perform, do you have almost like a choose your own adventure of what you're gonna do based on like response? Or like, oh, that's this type of crowd, or like, so you could have a set planned out, but then you're like, I'm gonna move here, I'm gonna go there, depending on the response, where the needle goes, I might go there.
Well, that's the basic comedic rule that you should have. If you're gonna headline, which means you do 45 minutes to an hour, you should have about 2.5 hours of material, so that. Yeah, that's why it takes people so long to get to a headliner status, like in clubs and stuff, because you have to be able to have that amount of material so that if you do get an audience,
you got to slay for that whole time.
Right. You have to change it up so that they do enjoy it. So that's the hardest part. Like I pretty much have 2 hours now. I recorded one. I have another one that is pretty much done. I want to record that one and then work on a third hour. So I do have an idea of where I can go with an audience within the first 5 minutes. Because I have, not only do I have jokes that will set it up so that if they laugh at this, I can keep going with my set that I have planned. Also, just looking at an audience will tell you. Like if you're at a bar and everybody's like drunk off their ass, this is a rowdy crowd. This is the hour I'm going to do tonight. Right. This is the rough hour. This is the stuff people will enjoy. Or if you go to like a country club setting and everybody has, the alligator shirts on.
Yeah, Judge Mills.
Right. That's when you go, oh, okay, they're probably not going to go for the Chinese people, torture people. That's
because they probably do it.
Yeah. We got more on them. But it's one of those things. You have to be able to gauge your audience and determine what they're going to like and what they're not. So sometimes the first 5 minutes is the hardest because you have to figure out where they will go with you. Now, the fun thing, though, is Carlin used to do this before he started amassing his new audience. He would do the first 15, 20 minutes of material that kind of went up the hill. And then the last 40 to 30 minutes went all the way down. And it was that first 15 to 20 where if I can get people to follow me here, they'll follow me down the hill.
Right.
But that's where you got to try to get them. So if you have your audience there, you can start off and say whatever the hell you want, and they're with you because they want to see you. If it's not your audience, then it's a matter of, okay, let's start off slow. Are they going with me there? Okay, well, let's throw in this joke. Okay, they like that. All right, let's do this one. Now this one. And then eventually you get the audience on your side. And if you have them on your side, there really isn't anything that you can say that's going to upset them because they trust you. Now, that's what you're supposed to do. You get the audience to trust you, and then you just destroy that trust completely.
Well, that's what always fascinated me about Carlin, because I was fortunate enough to see him at least a couple times when he was in Scranton. And he used to come to Scranton yearly.
Yeah.
And now Lewis Black comes here yearly. And I guess the same thing fascinates me about both, because if I were to go out and say some of those things, just, in a very similar way to people, they'd go, well, I'm highly offended by that, or I'm pissed off, or whatever. And there's a certain attitude. And then, but then people in Scranton would pay to see that and laugh their asses off. And I'm looking around at the audience going, that looks like my grandma. That looks like my grandfather. This looks like my aunt, whatever. And any other day of the week, these people would be pissed off if I said the exact same thing.
And they heard you say it for free.
Right. And I'm not saying that I would say it as funny as him or in the way that he does, but that was his genius, was that he was able to craft it in such a way that he could say those things to people and they would not only buy right into it, but laugh at it and love it and enjoy it.
I found his last special very weird. Do you remember his last special? His last HBO special?
I do remember that, yeah.
Like the second half of that was just like, he's angry.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think at that point,
and it wasn't even, most of it wasn't even funny. It was just like, I am so pissed off.
Right.
At everything. Like that, it was like me trying to talk earlier. It's like I don't even know where to begin or end. I'm so pissed off.
But
so much
he had that luxury that he could at that point.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's a legend. He's a god in the comedy world, man.
Yeah.
There's the one Carlin special, Life is Worth Losing, and I idolize Carlin, and that was the one special where the entire time it's like, you're not saying a lot of funny stuff, man. You're not really getting there's not a whole lot of laughs per minute in this hour and 10 minutes that you're doing.
Right.
Like, look at it. It's from the beginning to end. It's just very, very bleak and disturbing.
That had to have been his last.
I think that's
one.
the same one.
No, it was second to last one.
Okay.
Yeah, his last two are like, he went like, I don't know what happened.
He just didn't give a shit.
It wasn't even about.
I'm going to say whatever I want now.
Yeah,
there's nothing you can do.
You guys paid to laugh. You actually paid to listen. So sit down, and here's what we're going to talk about. That, I mean, that, and then when you watch like his early stuff, man, it was totally like, dude.
Well, he did the hippy dippy weatherman and that kind of stuff. And but he changed his career several times. I mean, he used to be a duo back in the day. He used to do, and then
he was with Jack Burns, and then he was a solo as just himself as a straight laced comic doing clean material.
Right.
Then the hippie movement came along, and he grew his hair out, and he started doing dirtier material for that era, where he was talking about, he did like slight political bits, and he did the 7 dirty words, but he didn't really bother anybody. And then he had a resurgence like in the 90s where he started doing his more political, I'm going to piss everybody off material.
Right.
And that's when he started doing not so much dirty material, but stuff that would bother people to hear. Like,
yeah, but see, the thing that it's not pissing, because are you pissing people off because you're right? You know what I mean? Like, that was the thing about him. Like, it was like, even though it's jokes and with public figures and politicians and stuff, like, I'm aware of libel and slander, and I don't think they can come at you if it's true.
Well, no,
you know what I mean? Like, everything he said, like, it was true.
Right, but not only that. So far as comedy is concerned, if you're doing it under the tent of comedy, you can say whatever you want, legitimately. There is a thing within the First Amendment that if it's considered to be comedy, you can pretty much say whatever you want, and you can't be accused of slander or anything, because the purpose of it is to get people to laugh.
Right.
So basically, so long as you put LOL at the end of anything, you can say whatever the hell you want.
And I feel like that's an essential part of what you do, but not all comedians do that.
No.
There are a lot of other, especially like the comedians around here, like you're buddies with a lot of these guys, and they do totally different kinds of material.
Yes.
So what other kinds of comedians do you see out here, and like what kind of scene is there in terms of comedy?
There is a scene, but it's not as fruitful as we would like it to be, because of the fact that a lot of people will willingly tell people that they're from the area, and that immediately just turns them off. Like, I'm a comedian from the area. Yes, so am I. I'm not putting you on my stage. That's not going to happen. Like that. Yeah, we're all comedians. That's the issue that we run into. The scene in general is, I mean, and you've seen it as of late with the open mic, that anywhere a comic can go to hone his craft, they're going to be there. No matter where it is, we will be there. The open mic there, the open mics that we run at the Main Bean in Luzerne, the Donahue's open mic down in Wilkes-Barre. They just had the Third Friday open mic down at the Art Scene in Wilkes-Barre. Comics showed up to that, and it's like ingrained in us from the beginning that if you want to be a good comic, you have to get in front of every kind of audience that there is. So just because you want to be in front of the comedy club audience doesn't mean you're always going to be. So you need to get in front of whoever you can, whenever you can. If that means you crash a poetry reading and you do some jokes, do that. I'm serious.
You sound like you speak from experience there.
Yeah, I have done every kind of open mic in venue possible because I want to be as good as I possibly can be. And the only way to achieve that is you have to perform in front of varying types of people. You have to be able to, your jokes have to be able to go over with a white audience, black audience, Asian, Jewish, rich, poor, in the middle, everything. You have to be able to make all of them laugh or at least chuckle at the very least for you to be considered good and to get decent work out of it. You have to work your ass off. It does not come from nowhere. I mean, you really, really have to work hard to be good. Because there's some people that are funny, but they're not trying as hard as they could. Because there's in the scene there is a split amongst people about what's okay to joke about and what's not. There are comics who believe you shouldn't joke, as they would say, like you shouldn't make crime against humanity jokes, or you shouldn't, joke about taboo subjects, and you have to be clean in order to get work. And that was true at a time, but there's an audience for everybody now, and it's easy to find them too. I mean, you just go on to, Crimes Against Humanity YouTube channel and you post your stuff there and they'll love it. There is an audience for every genre. So there's that conflict of you shouldn't be joking about this. And if you're going to joke about this, I'm not going to support it and I'm not going to agree with it. And I'm going to, just like with any, artistic endeavor, people are always bullshitting behind other people's backs, but what are you going to do? But that's the scene. There are comics who look at it from a business standpoint of I just want to get my 15, my 20, my hour, and then I'm done with it. And I'll just keep doing that until nobody wants to listen to me anymore. And then there's comics that look at comedy from an artistic aspect. Like I'm gonna do as many hours as I can. I'm gonna create as much material as I can because I don't want anybody to ever get tired of me. I want to create bits. I don't want to just create nice jokes. I want to really create things that people haven't seen yet and do things people haven't done yet. So that's where it is. And there's, in the scene itself, we're struggling to get venues to play us or allow us to perform there. And then you have that issue of people not sure what they're getting. Because they will assume, okay, well, are you going to be a clean comic? Or are you going to be a dirty comic? A lot of people assume that you're going to be like Andrew Dice Clay. Mm. They don't get that there's a way they don't get that you can be dirty and be really funny. You don't have to deliberately go out and say, fuck this group of people and that group of people and make stereotypes about everyone. There is a way to actually intelligently do dirty material or be clean. And there's a bunch of comics that are clean that I love and I laugh my ass off every time I see them because they're smart and funny. There's comics that do really obscure stuff that I think is great. There's comics that do stories of their life that I think are great. So there's different levels in different comics out there, and it's just a matter of getting more people to recognize it. Because the scene itself, like you said, you weren't even aware that there were that many comics in the area.
Exactly.
And I think what most of that is that it's so hard for people to work together for a common good. Mm. And that's something that you're helping with, that you're getting all of the entertainment fields together in one area. And as a result, I've made friends with...
Praise be to Allah Rich.
No, but as a result of that, I've made friends in different artistic circles that I never would have met before. I have friends that are poets now. I know people that are musicians, and they all want to work together to, get me in front of your audience, because then like the comedic people that want to see comedy aren't going to go out to a poetry reading or a band. Bands aren't going to go out to comedy or poetry. However, if they work together, you get those small droppings of people who, like this band, but I like that poet or I like that comic. That's a real community, is all artists working together, not just comedy and poetry and musicians and whatever else is out there, they should all work together so that they can all collaborate and gain each other's audience. Because you take these 10 people, and these 10 people, that's 30 that could potentially see everybody and tell other people. So, and
that's the thing too, is everybody has interests outside of whatever they like. You know, if you're a musician, you might enjoy going to see a comedian or something like that. So I don't understand why these cliques kind of stay in those cliques and they don't really venture outside that a little bit and try to discover that, because they have to look at it for a second and go, well, you know, if I want more people to come and give local bands a chance, maybe I should give local poets a chance, local comedians a chance, things like that, and that'll kind of come back to me, you know.
Right. We're all in the same boat.
Yeah, you're all trying to get your art out there, whether it's high art or low art or whatever you're trying to do. You know, it doesn't matter. Like you said, I think there's an audience for everything too. You know, it's a matter of you know, finding it and then being able to hone that and get them to be, you know, kind of regulars and understand that. And there's so many. Go ahead, Mark.
No, you go.
Oh, okay. I thought you looked like you were going to jump in there.
I was,
because you've been having this like secretive conversation.
No.
Like through eyes and hand motions with Jimmy. So I didn't catch whether it was part of that.
The GoPro died, so I'm trying to get the other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sad face.
That sucks.
I'm worried about the video.
Oh, okay. Well, see, there's your art. You're trying to save your art.
Well, it's not really art. I mean, we're just kind of aiming shit, just to make sure like people are like, it's not feet. Per that type of music that I'm not. No, I just wanted to ask. I wanted to ask the $64,000 question.
Sure.
Okay.
What's the worst gig you ever played?
There's a lot,
but the worst. I mean, like memorable because it was, you know, an individual you sucked, or, you know, just anything where it's like one of those ones where it's like, at least it wasn't that, or like, what's the funniest shitty gig you ever had? Whether it was like, oh yeah, I had to perform in a urinal in an Arby's.
I'm gonna go with when I opened for Shat. That would probably,
still,
yeah.
You got to tell the story, like, you know, long story short, but tell the story because it's too funny.
That was the.
Because he's told this at the open mic before, but this is a lot of people obviously blew my mind.
I really think that is just because I had just started.
Wait, where was the gig? Was in New York, wasn't it?
No,
where was
it? Judge and Jury in Scranton. It's the Irish Wolf Pub now, but it was Judge and Jury at that time before they remodeled
with the
it.
Wolf.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I got the gig. I was told just to be up there. I was opening for
Keller. Did you say?
Yeah. Bobby gave
me that.
Did he know
gig. Totally? He was like,
oh yeah, Bobby
I'm
knew
him
all
to the
about
wolves.
It. No, Bobby was having fun with it too. But he's like, you got to open for this band. Okay, I'll do it. So, I'm doing my set, and it's just awkward. These people do not want to see comedy. They want to see their band.
The Dildo Band.
Yeah. Half the people there are neo-Nazis. I'm not even close to making that up. They were neo-Nazis. They were carrying guns, shaved head.
Yeah. What was your set?
I don't even remember. I had just started, I think maybe a year before this, so I didn't. I had no idea how to appeal to these goddamn people. So I'm just trying to like get jokes across that are going nowhere. And one of the jokes that's in the bit now is one of the guys yells at me, "I'm going to rape you in the alley after the show." And that's when it clicked for me. And I just said, like, you're not supposed to tell me where. And then I got their respect. They're like, all right, that's good. Okay.
He knows the rules.
All right, you stood up to me. Good job. And
was it better after that?
Yeah, it was better after. Then they liked me because I showed them I didn't give a shit.
Right.
So then Bobby goes up and he's doing his Melvin character
Bobby does a character?
Oh yeah, Bobby Keller, who's for people who don't know, he's a local filmmaker of mostly short horror films, and out there, very out there stuff. And he does local comedy as well, and he does this Melvin character.
Jimmy, did you know Bobby? It's
very Andy Kaufman-esque stuff.
What?
Did you know Bobby Keller did comedy?
I knew he did a couple of years ago, but I thought he stopped when he started doing the local films.
He did stop when he started doing the local films. But
he had a comedy. I never saw it, but I knew he had a skit for a while.
It's funny as hell. It's so awkward and just funny.
Does he roll with it? Does he?
He's the character the entire time except for this night.
The night of the neo-Nazis?
Yes, because he's trying to do the Melvin character. They're ignoring him. He's trying, and the character's like, I talk like this. That's the character the entire time. So he's doing that voice, and one of them says something to him, and Bobby breaks character and says, like, in the most malicious way, at least I don't have a blood for blood tattoo on my neck. And then that's when they went, okay, all right, you showed us what you got.
It's amazing how you garner respect from different audiences.
I understand.
For people who don't know about Shat, too, describe Shat.
So then they're like, all right, Shat, the band's about to come out. I have never heard of them. I was like, Shat, really? Okay. These dudes.
So wait, you and Bobby get out alive. Yeah. Well, at least you get off stage alive.
Right. Now I'm sitting at the bar.
Are they buying you drinks and stuff?
Well, I don't drink, but they were buying Bobby a shitload of drinks. And they're like, so you were funny, man. Good job. Yeah. So then the band comes out, and the way that they came out, they turn off all the lights in the room, and you hear this siren going off. This dude comes out with a megaphone with it going, woo! A red light spinning, and these grown men come out. They're wearing diapers, these baby masks, and the lead singer is decked out in dildo armor.
Yes. Now they all wear dildo armor.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's good that I added that to the band.
Now they all wear dildo armor.
And it's like 10-piece dildo armor, too. They got a shin guard with 3 dildos coming out of it on each leg.
Is it like lobstered armor?
No, it looks like...
No, it's like an actual shin guard that like a shortstop would wear. Oh. And there's dildo.
Imagine this is a dildo.
Like just
sticking straight on like spikes.
I was asking about
like a puffer fish.
The armor.
No, it's just a shin guard.
They're not like guar.
And then he's got a shin guard on his forearms, and there's dildos sticking out of that. Then he's got dildo on his helmet. No, and it's just like a stream of dildos coming out.
Like a mohawk of dildos.
And then he's got a cross that's 2 dildos.
I'm fairly certain that that's sacrilegious.
Yeah, that's what they're worried about.
Yeah, they're not.
And then the lead singer, not only is he wearing a diaper, but then he also has a strap on coming out with like a 12-foot dildo.
They're on YouTube, man.
The physics of this confuses me.
It's hysterical because if somebody filmed it like with an iPhone today that does 240 frames per second, and he moved. It'd be hysterical just to see like the dildos like try to catch up.
I do wonder what Guar would think of them if they saw them.
Guar would be like, these, no.
Right.
Well, no, and then here's the crazy
What are they doing? They're ridiculous.
Is all they do is like 30-second songs, and they are like 5 or 6 lyrics. One of their songs is fuck her in her double chin, double chin. That's the lyric. That's the thing. It's just fuck her in her double chin, double chin, double chin.
Didn't Dave Brockie have a 30-second album?
I don't know, but I feel bad for the lyricist who had to stay up all night to write that.
And they have like 30 songs that are each just like 30 seconds a piece. And the thing that's crazy about
15-minute set.
The neo-Nazis are loving this. They are watching the gayest thing I have ever seen. And they are loving it. I saw one girl, she was wearing like really high-cut shorts, and she's gyrating to these guys. Like she's getting off on watching them play. She's showing the band her tits, and I'm like, I gotta learn to play a guitar. This is stupid. jokes get me nowhere, man. If I just wear dildo armor and play a guitar and do retarded nursery rhymes, I can.
Lauren, I'll show you some YouTube videos.
That's it.
I don't wanna.
Oh no,
good.
it's funny.
I'm okay.
It's good. It's
Thank
real
you.
good.
And the best thing about that was, and I'm not gonna say the venue or anything because I don't feel like pissing anybody off more than I already have. But I don't care about pissing Shat off at all because they don't like me and I don't like them. Wow. But I started doing that as an opening bit because sometimes I did shows where like 5 or 6 people are in the audience. But they were good shows because I know how to work a crowd. So I would open it up with saying, most of the time if there's a big crowd, I'm very happy that you were all here. I have done all kinds of shows. I've performed in theaters. I've performed in front of 500 people. And I performed in front of 2 people. And you would think 2 people is as bad as it gets, and you would be wrong because I opened for the band Shat. And most of the time people are like, what? And then I explained to them who Shat is. I do this venue, and it's just a little bar, and I'm starting to do the bit, and these people in the audience are going crazy. They're like, yeah, Shat, that's awesome. And then I start getting into why it's stupid. And then they're like, man, fuck you. This is bullshit. We don't need this anymore. So I get done with my set, and I later find out that the people who were like really all about it and then got mad at me were actually the band. They were in the audience.
Well, it's hard to recognize them without giant dildos sticking out of them.
They were so pissed. I later went up because one of the bartenders came by and said, hey, the lead singer of Shat was in the audience and he wanted to tell you that you did a good job. And I was like, oh, really? So I went up to him and I'm like, hey, man, thanks for being here. And he's like just sitting at the bar all depressed. And he's just like, yeah, thanks a lot, man. Like, and my wife works with people that know the band like personally, and they're still mad about it. They are still angry over the fact that I made fun of them. Oh. Like, how could you be a comedian and not like Shat? I don't know. By existing, maybe.
I would have never heard of Shat were it not for you.
I never would have heard of Shat had it not been for Bobby fucking Keller.
Who does listen to the podcast, by the way, so he's going to enjoy this one.
Oh, yeah, because I told the story at the open mic, and he loved it, and I love Bobby, man. Bobby got me all kinds of gigs that I did amazing at, and I owe Bobby a ton of credit for the stuff that he does and the stuff that he got me. So,
Jimmy, you saw Bobby Keller out the other night. What did he say to you about the podcast?
About me?
Yeah.
Oh, he listens just because I know what to say at just the right time. The only time I speak, he knows it's well thought out.
You like a Silent Bob kind of thing.
Right. I don't have diarrhea of the mouth. It just, I only speak when it's necessary.
You mean like the rest of us, basically?
Mostly me.
No, he's just talking about Mark.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I know when it's my fault. Trust me. I'll own it.
So, do you have any gigs coming up? I mean, obviously, you can always see Zack at the NEPA Scene open mic on Tuesdays at the Woodlands, but there's plenty other places you can see Zack too.
We have an open mic every Sunday in Luzerne at the Main Bean that starts at 8:00. I'm usually there because my house is like a minute away from it, so I kind of have to be there. You'll
just
see
flew in.
Yeah. A bunch of the other comics around the area are there. It's always a fun show. It's a really nice, intimate setting. We'll be starting a new open mic this Wednesday at Murphy's in Swayersville. We're going to try and build that one up. Starting in March, when it starts to warm up again, we're going to reopen the Donahue's open mic. And we're probably going to try and change it up a bit and do what you've been doing with Tuesdays and open it up to like poetry and acoustic music. Because it does create a nice vibe and you get more people in. And then Friday, I'm in Plumsteadville, wherever the hell that is. And that's
where they have plums.
Yeah, and that's nothing against Plumsteadville, if anybody there is listening.
I hadn't heard of it until you mentioned it.
So. I'm very excited about being there. And then Saturday, I'm going down to Maryland, where I'm originally from, and I'll be playing at an Elks Lodge. So I'm kind of stoked about that.
I'm stoked about that.
I am. I like country clubs, or at least clubs like that, because audiences typically like raunchy material. I don't know why.
Because they're stuck up.
Well, yeah. And you get some liquor in them, and they're that show will probably
and they're polite.
Yeah. If anything, I probably won't have to do any jokes. I could probably just do crowd work the entire time. That's exactly what they will expect.
And you, sir.
Yeah. Most of the time with audiences like that, you could just point at them and they're like, thank you. They're happy to be fucked with.
My wife doesn't pay attention to me at home. I'm happy you did from the stage.
Yeah. That's it. It's
right, Buffy?
You're making me sad.
Why?
I don't know.
I'm making you sad?
That made me sad. That made me really sad.
that the wealthy man's wife does not pay attention to him?
Yeah, a little bit.
Who do you feel sad for in this situation?
Not sure.
The wealthy man?
I think so.
Why?
I don't know.
That was in stereo, man.
Why would you feel bad about a wealthy man, a wealthy white man at that?
Right. He's got things.
Why are you looking at me like that? Like, oh no, what are you talking about?
Oh, in my head, he wasn't white.
Well, good for you. See how weird it is? I'm technically the racist.
He was a
Romulan.
Romulan.
Of white people right now.
Why'd you assume he was white?
Because I'm at an Elks Lodge.
He's not at the Apollo.
Yeah.